Hi, it's Terri Levine, the Business Growth Guru, and today we're going to talk about one of the most critical things in your business. It's like oxygen to live, and that is cash flow. Lots of entrepreneurs do not do a good job of managing the cash coming in or the cash going out. And I will tell you that some business people that I've talked to claim that this is more important than even customer service. Because if you're not in business to make money and you're not doing well financially, let's face it, you can't stay in business. You can't keep serving more people. You'll have no products or goods to deliver because you won't have the funds to do it. So cash flow really determines if you're going to be in business, how long you're going to be in business. If you can't pay suppliers or creditors or your subcontractors or employees or whomever, you can't be in business, let's face it. So, no doubt about it, you need to have skills to properly manage your cash flow. And you need to make this something that you personally do on a regular basis. Because to me, if the business owner isn't doing this, the business will not be successful. I'm not saying you can't have a bookkeeper or an accountant to help you, but I am saying you need to have very clear awareness of the financials, so that you can effectively manage cash flow. Now, there's a lot more to it than just, looking at a checkbook or looking at income statements. It's not just like the movement of money in and out of your bank account or in and out of your business. There's really a lot more to it. You must analyze the cash flow that's coming in to understand what issues, you're going to look for some issues or some problems or some gaps. You also want to understand how much you're spending. What's the flow of money coming in? What's the flow of money going out? So it needs a very good analysis where you literally sit down and you look at every single aspect of your business, everything that's important, all components, and you make sure that the cash is coming into those areas and is not flowing out too great in those areas. And I also recommend you look for cycles. Is there a cycle of too much cash going out? I also want to make sure that when you're looking at these numbers, you're looking at what the budget is, you're looking at predicting how much cash you'll be spending, and how much income you'll be generating. I recommend you do it for the next month, the next 6 months, the next year, and I even do it for the next 5 years. Business owners that improve their cash flow and that focus on cash flow and make this a business priority are in business a long, long time. They're successful. They accelerate the amount of cash that the business has, and they delay expenditures. They delay outflows. One of my clients was spending so much money on marketing, and it was not warranted because the cash wasn't there. There was going to be a deficit in the budget. So we shifted and came up with inexpensive and free marketing techniques which improved the cash flow immediately. You've got to manage this. Even if you don't like numbers, I'm not a numbers person. Money is too important, the money in my business. I have to see what those gaps are. I have to look at this on a regular basis, because if I don't, I'm going to find myself in trouble. I'm not going to know how much is going out. I'm not going to know how much is coming in. And it's just, I've used this analogy before, but it's like getting in a car and not knowing if you have gas, where you're going, what your position is, and just going, la-di-da, there I go. You really have to know this information. And again, I do not recommend that you outsource. I recommend that, if there's cash surplus, you know that there's cash surplus. You know what you're doing with it. If there's a deficit, you can manage the dollars that are going out. So I expect every business owner to be wise about their cash flow cycle. I expect them to track it. I do it very simply in an Excel document. You don't need anything fancy. I'm not a fan of like lots of software and complicated tools, but a very simple Excel spreadsheet that says this is what I spend money on every month, and this is the amount of money I expect to make every month. Now, it is like balancing a checkbook. You want to make sure that you're not spending more than you're earning. So if you have trouble managing your checkbook at home, then this process is very important for you, and you may want to do this with an accountability partner, a coach, a mentor, You can do it with your bookkeeper, your accountant. If they're perhaps managing the numbers, you'd still sit down with them. I recommend you do this weekly. Here's the thing that many business owners do. They think they can manage the business on a monthly basis, but you can't survive with a deficit for a month. So if you really want a prosperous business, you will look at these indicators weekly. It's not like I wouldn't not balance a checkbook for a month and go, I hope there's enough money in there. To have a healthy cash flow, it involves me sitting down every single month. Sit down with your accountant, sit down with your bookkeeper, whoever does this for you, or if you do it yourself, that's great. But I want you to be a part of it in a very timely way. You're looking for how much is flowing in and how much is flowing out. That's really what cash flow is. What's coming in and what's going out. And by doing this, you will survive any shortages. Sometimes we have inflows, we have more products or sales that are sold or more things that customers are buying, and sometimes we have lower inflows. Sometimes we have bigger outflows. We have bigger operating expenses or marketing expenses, or you've just leased some space, or you've got some fixed assets, or you've purchased a location, or maybe you have a loan payment, or maybe you pay dividends, stock options, taxes, whatever. You need to know these numbers so that you're in a very healthy way managing your cash through what's flowing in and what's flowing out. I will tell you, it is possible to maintain a specific amount of cash at all times. I have an amount in mind that I want in my business at all times that would cover me for a rainy day. So the reason that you measure and manage your cash flow is that you have that money on a regular basis. So if the economy dips or it's difficult in your business around Christmas or whatever, it doesn't matter. You have a consistent amount of cash in your business on a regular basis. If you have to spend less cash, if the outflow needs to be lower, maybe you can renegotiate how you pay some of your vendors, or maybe there are purchases you don't need to make right now. But it's important for you, the business owner, to be making financial projections, to be forecasting what your expenses are going to be and what your revenues are going to be. You must make these projections. They will help you anticipate the ebbs and the flows that naturally occur in business. Business is very cyclical. Our income streams are cyclical. Society is cyclical. When I'm very flush in cash, then I may buy extra products on hand or engage in extra services. The other thing that happens with cash flow when you're managing it is you can create contingency plans, emergency plans. So what would be the best situation, the best scenarios, and what could be the worst? And how will you handle your cash in the worst? I really feel that because I know how much I need every month in terms of cash, I predict, I look at it weekly, that there have not been ebbs and flows in my business that are great. Yes, certainly, the recession, quote unquote, came very easy. I put a cap on spending. I just cut the budget in half for spending. And what happened was I still kept the same amount of cash flow. So it was very easy to sustain that amount of cash flow by literally just saying, right now I need more cash reserves. I'm going to spend less. I took a hard look at any things that were unprofitable and that I could cut out or eliminate. And I questioned everything I was spending money on. I asked, Terri, is that a sound expense? Could you curb it or could you minimize it? So yes, optimizing your expenses, just like in your personal life, are critical in your business life. One of my recommendations for managing cash flow is that you also limit your inventory. Lots of my clients have just stocked up on ridiculous amounts of inventory. I used to do the same. One of my publishers told me once that I should get 5,000 books and keep them on hand, and I don't know why I did that. That's a huge expenditure, and they literally just took up a garage. It took 2 years to move through 5,000 books. So very critically at surplus. You may need to raise your prices. You may need to invoice people in a more timely fashion. You may need to manage what's coming in. You may need to devise a new policy or a new system on how customers pay you, again, depending on your cash flow. Boundaries about how clients or customers pay you or what your payment plans are. You may need a system, in fact, to do better follow-ups or better collections. In summary, my friends, the benefits of cash flow management, first of all, is that you will have a lot less stress. You'll be around a lot longer. Your business will be much, much, much more solid. You'll have a lot more ease, just trust me, and your company will see more profitability. And that's what it's about. It is about making a profit, let's face it. When you devise ways of managing the cash on a regular basis, just think of it as managing your checkbook. It provides relief, a sense of understanding and knowing what your business is doing, putting a freeze on investments and getting into ventures, hiring new people, whatever, and then allows you to spend money when you're more flush. Please don't play around with this. Don't just go out there and guess and say, gee, I hope that we have enough money. I hope that we're doing well. But plan. Look at this every single week. Be responsible. Put yourself in the equation. Again, don't just have somebody else do this. There are many companies that have been ripped off. We've read about them. And the only reason that can happen is because the owner did not keep an eye on the visibility of the cash flow, the ins and the outs. So, this is a business practice that you cannot sit around thinking about. This is one that you have to put in place right now. And if you're already doing this, I want you to see how you can amp it up. What other expenses can you cut? And perhaps it's time to give each of your areas of business, your products and services, a 10% increase. Food for thought. I want you to be more profitable.